Welcome to the newly built V-berth on the Errant. Been a pretty productive winter so far. So I've built the V-berth out of 3/4 inch plywood. I've got the bulkhead for the anchor locker tabbed in. The V-berth itself is going to have a lot of storage under it. This whole thing comes up. Now the anchor locker, I added this is actually higher than that part because the water level is real close to the level of the bed area, so this is to bring it up a little higher so that way it can drain out of here without having to use a pump or anything, or drain it into the bilge. A little more about how I built the V-berth. So I've got a partial bulkhead here that's one piece. It's gonna separate the actual bedding, the actual bed area from some cabinets. And that comes down, and that's one piece that comes all the way over to almost the middle. And then same with the other side, and that was the gap, so I just cut a piece out to fit in there. Alright, you're looking at a mostly finished bulkhead. I just mirrored the starboard side and trimmed it a little bit. I'm not sure what size doorway I want yet, so I just cut just big enough to get to walk through. And then cut out a small piece that just fits right in between them. So I'm using ash for the strips. Chose that because it's flexible, it's cheap, and should have adequate rot resistance. I'm going to cut it into 1-inch strips first, lengthwise, and then cut it down to a 1/2 inch depth to match the insulation depth. Alright, I'm working on the insulation. I've got the wood strips on both sides of where I'm going to put the insulation between these two supports that'll be underneath the V-berth. And I'm going to insulate between those two and then cover it with some sort of real thin, cheap like plastic like facade, and that'll screw into these pieces of wood. I'm gonna cut a template with brown paper and then cut the foam to match it. Alright, that's it. I'm going to see if it will mirror the other side. That would make life a little easy. I think we are in luck. Almost perfect. Alright, I've got my foam cut. I'm using I'm using 1/2 inch close-cell foam. Just got it on online. I found like a place that sells it by the roll, and I got a lot of it. I'm gonna attach it to the hole with construction adhesive and then seal up any openings with just normal caulk. I've got just a little bit of weight, just enough so it's got some pressure down. It's the adhesive is enough to hold it, but just in case. And while that's going, I'm gonna just come in and do a little caulking. So I'm cutting the panels here to that are going to cover up the insulation, and in like this behind the shelving area it's just going to be this cheap plastic or fiberglass type material, just something thin that can make the back of the shelves where it meets the hole look good. So I got it cut with a template. I already drew out the line. Just going to cut it out. Alright, I got the panels cut. A little bit of trimming done. You can see the insulation. And there is the first, probably one of the first finished pieces you'll see on the boat, even though it'll be underneath the V-berth. But I just really wanted to have insulation under there and then a way to cover it, so if you're storing stuff, it's not knocking into the insulation and, you know, ripping it up. And I'm doing this now because it's easier to measure the top. And now I'm going to go in and put this piece back on over top of it.